Hello and welcome to my 2021 bullet journal setup. Quick overview. As you can see here on these two sticky notes, I just jotted down some minor sketches for myself so I could figure out what order I wanted my 2021 setups to be in. Also, I had no idea what I wanted to do for these spreads. I literally made it like a followers control my bullet journal setup. Because I knew I wanted to try new things this year, but I didn't really know where I wanted to go with it. So, the first thing that we have is this cute cover page. I was kind of torn between doing either like a cover page that was just 2021 in big block letters, or to do like a collage-ish cover page, and my followers on Instagram ended up choosing for a collage cover page, which was actually really nice in the end, because I could include little elements that I don't think I could have included in a big blocky cover page. So like one of those elements that I included was a mini index, because I didn't want to dedicate like a full page or more to an index, because I really only wanted a mini index for like each month. So I was able to do that on the cover page, and then on top of that, I could kind of experiment with layering a little bit. And also, most importantly, I think, I could add my focus word, which is possibility this year. Because really anything's possible this year, and it's up to me how I sort of take those possibilities and make them opportunities. And I also made this my focus word because it's a pretty big year for me, because I will be graduating from high school and starting college in 2021. So yeah, possibility. That's what we're focusing on this year. So a part of my layering for this cover page or collage was using polkas. I've actually never used them before this spread, but I see them in a lot of K-pop journals, and they're really cute. Like, I like the quirky shapes that they have. And I think honestly the yellow ones especially brought together this cover page, because it kind of took all the separate elements and just brought them all together, from the little layering, the focus word, the index. And then I also added a quote. It essentially goes, "Dear Rhea, how great this year is up to you." I forgot the "is" when writing it, but I went back and fixed it, don't worry. But yeah, essentially that's my perception going into this year. It's really how I perceive the events of this year that make it great. It's not up to a fresh year for the year to be great. It's up to how I perceive it, essentially. And so that's the mindset I'm going into 2021 with. So I wrote it down. And now, the spread that everyone hates watching, probably, and I probably hate even more making, so I kept it short, but I made a year at a glance. I find them useful because it's nice for me to glance at it, and it's also kind of therapeutic in a way for me to make it. I don't know, the sort of routineness is very satisfying to me, and seeing a year come together on one page is really nice. So after that, I had my intentions page. Rather than making a list of goals that'll inevitably overwhelm me, I decided to set intentions for this year. Also, sorry about this shot. I was experimenting with cameras and angles, and didn't realize that you could see the parts of my desk that aren't covered in this pillowcase, but that's okay. Anyways, as I was saying, I made an intentions page with 9 different categories, because I decided for each sort of aspect of my life, which I set with these categories, I wanted to set intentions for myself. So academically, I'm not going to set a goal of trying to get 100% of 100s in my classes. Instead, I'm going to set an intention to remain curious in everything that I learn about in my classes, because I think curiosity will inevitably keep me engaged in the material that I learn, and that would lead to good grades, but that's not why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because learning is a really fun experience, and so I want to keep my mind curious. So I think I have academics, intellectual things, some of my extracurriculars, like a magazine, and some of my social media accounts, personal stuff, family stuff, all those sorts of things. Then this next page is a year in videos page. This is inspired by Best Dress, aka Ashley on YouTube. She has a bullet journal YouTube video that I watch way too many times. Like, if I had to choose a comfort video, it would be her bullet journal video. But essentially the idea is that I took every Monday of the year and I wrote it down so that I could sort of plan out what videos I'm going to post and when I'm going to post them. So like, obviously every month we'll have a plan with me video, but if there's sort of extra videos I want to throw in, I could plan them out and figure out like my project timelines for those videos, so when I can start filming. It's a nice way to plan it, and I don't know, I like this format because one of my goals this year is to be more consistent on YouTube, and so I made this spread as a reminder of that, and to also sort of be like, here, Rhea, here's a tool for you to achieve that intention, and this tool is like also a motivation aspect. So on the pages, because I kind of wanted to add a sort of theme in a way, and I've been really obsessed with drawing lemons recently. I drew lemons at random spots. Sometimes it's at the tops of the pages near the titles, or at the bottom of the pages if there's extra space, or just like randomly spread out throughout this page. But I don't know, I feel like the lemons brought it all together. Oh, and also this yellow/black theme was decided by my followers again. I wasn't really sure what color palette to go with, and the Pantone colors of the year are yellow and gray, and they kind of remind me of like rotten eggs, so I decided to go with the yellow as a sort of highlight color. So this next page, also decided by my followers to accompany my year in videos page, is a video ideas page. I just have 3 categories: bullet journal, student school stuff, and like lifestyle. I ended up adding a things to check out page, but that's not filmed because my camera died on me in the middle of filming. So this next page is my bullet journals, idea, wish list, and collab tracker. You won't get to see the wish list part because I added that again after the fact. But yeah, sometimes I come up with random ideas for bullet journal spreads, or for posts, or for like collabs to host. And so this is a nice place to sort of bring that all together instead of on random sticky notes in my desk. Again, adding some random lemons at the top because I think they look nice. And I also had this sort of basic cursive font that I did with my Tombow Nosuke. I think that's how you pronounce that. And each page has this like sort of line effect to sort of serve as my headers instead of making them super fancy. So for my collab tracker, I just did the collab, when it's due, and any notes that I might have about it. And then this next page, which I'm actually really excited about, is a monthly overview. So for each month, I want to sort of look back at the end of the month and reflect on the month, make that a monthly routine. I don't know, routines are something I definitely want to set this year, and so this is one that I'm working on. So what I did was I made 7 boxes, I think. 7 boxes where I could put a theme at a glance for that month, my achievement of that month, my highs and lows of that month, my best book of that month, how I've grown social media wise, especially on Instagram and YouTube. Don't put your worth to numbers. I'm just intrigued to see my growth on a month-to-month basis, but I do not define my worth as a bullet journaler, as an artist, as a student, as anything based off of numbers, because that's not very healthy in my opinion. And then I also added my best memory. I didn't really know what to put for all of these categories. I just knew I wanted to have best book, best memory, and a theme at a glance. So all the other categories were suggested by my followers because, once again, this was a followers control my bullet journal setup. So yeah, you can see me making those boxes. I actually think the spread turned out super aesthetic, and I can't wait to see it filled in at the end of the year, especially with all the themes. I've seen a lot of like themes at a glance, or like themes of this year's spreads, but I think it's kind of cool to make it like a monthly overview instead of just the themes, because it's like each month, at the end of the month, you can look back at all the previous months, or at the end of the year, you can look at like the entire year and sort of see how your life changed in that year or something. So if you're curious, I made the highs and lows boxes the same color and spacing because like that just aesthetically made sense to me in my brain. And I also made the growth box also the same height. It's about 3 squares. Each box, like each achievement, highs, lows, best book, and growth box are 3 squares tall, where the first square is the title of the box. Because my point is to choose one thing for those categories, or for like the growth one to do Instagram in one row and YouTube on the other row. So I didn't really try to add like that much spacing with the boxes. And then my best memory box is about 4 dots tall, just because, I don't know, I might have more details about my memories. And then I think my theme at a glance is like maybe 9 by 9 dots, essentially a perfect square. This next page I'm very excited for. It's a gratitude tracker, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word. I didn't really have space to title it, but essentially there are 52 boxes, one for each week in the year. So that at the end of a week on a Sunday, again, setting routines for myself this year, but at the end of a week I can go in and put the one thing that I was grateful for that week. I really want to express gratitude a lot more this year, and I think this is a really nice way to start, because at least I'll be expressing gratitude on a weekly basis, and then maybe, who knows, it'll start to evolve into a daily basis. Here's the point where my camera died, and I did not realize, so a lot of things got cut out, but here is my 2021 in music spread. I recently had compiled a list of my favorite music that was released in each month of 2020, and so I thought it'd be fun to do this for 2021. Essentially, the idea is that each month I'll choose my favorite song, or like the song that I had on repeat that I just couldn't get enough of, but I kind of want to specify it to songs that came out in that month. I think it's a mini time capsule of that year, but in music, and I want it to be through music because music is really important to me and is a really big part of who I am. So I decided to make this spread in a sort of like way to make a playlist of 2020 that's like my ultimate 12 songs. So one thing I'm doing here is I'm actually using a ruler to measure out the even spacing between all the little music players, and I wanted to address this, but I'm not using or making a grid cheat sheet this year. I don't know, I felt like it wasn't a useful tool for me in the past. I see a lot of bullet journalers make it, and it works for them, but it just really didn't work for me. All I need to know at this point is how many dots are across and down in my bullet journal, and I know that, and it's written on my cover page. If you're curious, it's 38 by 29. But I don't know, it's fun for me to figure out spacing and the math in the moment. I don't really like to refer back to a grid cheat sheet. I don't know, they've never really worked for me, and flipping back to it and then trying to line up the lines to your bullet journal just doesn't make sense to me, like logistically, especially when you get to the middle of your bullet journal. So yeah, I just count out, if I'm trying to make like 4 boxes, I just count out the 7 spaces, and I'll use like a ruler to measure out how long those 7 spaces are, and then just keep using the ruler. I don't know, it's not like a big deal or anything, but I just thought I'd share because a lot of big bullet journaler YouTube videos have like a grid cheat sheet at the very beginning of their setup, but I don't know, that's just not for me. So at this point in my 2021 music spread, I've made different boxes, and in all those boxes are the titles of the month. It kind of broke away from the just plain line style that I was doing for the other parts of the setup, but I felt like the boxes worked with the gratitude page on the right hand side. It just flowed more in my brain, and without the boxes I think it would have looked a little bit odd, because they're supposed to be like music players, and so it would have been looking like the music players all flowed together, not necessarily that they were separate. And then I also added the little like details of the music player in, and yeah, that was essentially the end of my 2021 setup. Here is the flip through, and I hope you enjoy this video, and Happy New Year!